as we've seen yesterday, Brian Shaw has posted a video on where he apparently goes for real against Devon larratt. And on the video, as much as this was a for real sparring, they didn't really pull until their gas ran out, sort of giving the idea that Devon only wanted to feel him. Although, I went to look at the comments in the video to see what were the people's thoughts, and there were a lot of comments saying that Brian wasn't really that strong, and that Devon's coach was to blame for it, and a lot of comments towards that. But there's a lot of things that people need to understand, like, if they really went for real in there, and Brian was trying to pin Devon, well, first of all, trying to pin Devon in a stop match is a huge mistake. Like, if you're ever trying to pin Devon, don't try to be slow. Like, you have to be as explosive as possible, because there's even a sparring that Devon and Levan had at East vs West 13, and in there, we could see that Devon had a stop on Levan, but since Levan wasn't being explosive, he couldn't pin Devon, and Devon had him stop in a wonderful position. So to think that Brian, that is just debuting in a sport, will be the one to pin him in a stop match is wild. But regardless, I wanted to put here the match of Devon vs Levan in Brian's practice pool with Devon. Like, why exactly Levan pinned Devon and Brian didn't? In the technical aspect, well, it's quite simple. Levan firstly uses back pressure, but one important thing here is that Levan's rise stops Devon's. So, by having a better rise than Devon, Levan simply dominates his wrist and ends this match with side pressure. So the main key here is not back pressure or side pressure. The main key is having a stronger hand than Devon, because in that way, you can simply go through his riser, and since Devon has almost no elbow flexion, it is just too easy for Levan to open him up. While in Brian's case, he wasn't really focusing on the hand. Like, we could see that Brian shifted his focus to back pressure and side pressure, and while he did that, Devon was just focused on his hand. Like, if Brian would have really given a surge, he probably would have lost his wrist, since Devon could get pretty high on his fingers. So, in short, yes, Levan is much more experienced, and Levan is actually an arm wrestler with a lot of matches under his belt. But it is indeed noticeable that once Brian gets the idea that the hand is more important before the back pressure and the side pressure, he'll then advance much more.